Hello everyone, Ebony Wilson here. Welcome back to the Exposed documentary series. In part 2 of this series, we are traveling back in time to retell a long-forgotten story of Frederikke, who was employed by EldoRa and Siman in June of 2022. We will also be relaying the stories of former employees, volunteers, and personnel who worked with EldoRa and Siman from the very beginning. The previous episode has in turn helped me to gauge the reaction of this to viewers, and I take that into consideration as a content creator and an editor. My intention is to shed light on the stories that you are about to hear that may or may not sit well with you. I want to thank you, every single one of you, who kindly wrote in with your comments, suggestions, and articles of help, even to those in this community who may be uncertain about what they should believe and where their spiritual paths are taking them next. It is an individual quest that each of us are still on, and I'm only here to bring forth the truth of what we experience, myself, and those who you are about to hear from. The first episode made us aware of all levels of discernment that are needed at this time, and I want to ask you, as a viewer, to please keep that in mind as you are watching the next part of this series. If at any time you resonate with this story, please remember to give this video a like, share with your friends, and learn more about our cause at exposeddoc.com. I look forward to seeing you soon. Most importantly, I look forward to relaying the true story of the people that you are about to meet. Thank you for watching.
Hi everyone, hope you guys are doing well. I just wanted to leave a quick note for anyone who's facing a lot of intensity in their life right now. And just know that if you're going through a very intense trial, if you're going through the dark night of the soul, if you're going through some very intense hardships and challenges, just know that you're not alone. This is all part of a plan, and we're supposed to go through this. We're supposed to feel this intensity, and we're supposed to treat this like an initiation. Just remember that everything that's happening in your life right now is an initiation. It's making you stronger. This is the period where you go through intense pressure, and the universe never sends you any trials that your soul cannot handle.
Read what's coming up for you. We're all holding space right now. You can speak freely.
Okay, I feel very alone.
Why are you making yourself feel alone?
Because I'm going through a lot. And I'm trying to get the task done, but I feel somehow alone in it.
the main focus was money and profit and living a lavish lifestyle, but not rewarding the people, not only not rewarding the people who helped you and to lift you up, but when it was your turn to climb the ladder, they specifically knocked you off.
It's a business. It's all about a business. She's a very good businesswoman. She had a business before. She knows the business, and they saw a business opportunity.
At first I felt they thought they could trust me. Now I see that they were grooming me, right?
Public shaming, it's the absolute worst. Are we seriously doing this again? Like,
Go to the left, yes. Just direct her. Let her move free. It's fine.
Just lie down. Just lie down. Just lie down. Lie down. Keep your head. Just lie down. You're safe. You're safe. You're safe. You're safe. Try to be still. Try to come into your body. Come into your body. You can do this. Just be calm and breathe. Just be calm and breathe. Just breathe. Focus on your breathing.
You're okay.
Just focus on being present in your body. You can do this. You just arrived. You're safe. You're safe. You just arrived. You're safe, family. You're with family. You're supposed to be here. This is a soul merger. You're merging with the old self. You're gonna get acclimatized to this planet's frequency very quickly. Just tune yourself to the magnetic, electromagnetic grid of this beautiful planet. It's going to nurture you now. She's holding you in her arms. She welcomed you here. We are your family. You're all your family. We are here to welcome you.
Keep that away.
Just lie down. Let body hold.
Here. Oh.
And there's something wrong about their walk-in technology, it does not feel like a technology to merge with your higher self, like what they're claiming it to be. Because there's one time when I was browsing the folders, I saw this video, and for some reason I felt scared. I got the chills instead of, I felt something was wrong. It felt like a possession more than a higher self merger.
What videos were you looking at? Were you looking at Ree's videos?
Everyone's videos, because I needed to find something to edit for the reel, something like that. Yeah. There was one video of Ree somewhere in their folders where they claim she's having a higher self merger walk-in technology, but Ree felt possessed, and I got scared because I knew Ree. From their other videos, she's a total light worker. Her light shines so bright, something like that. Yeah.
You're not the first one who actually is telling me that people did reach out. The people who could find me afterwards.
I didn't initially question why people were being fired or why they left. It was one of those things where EldoRa and Siman, how they would do it is, it's like the person would either quit or get fired. And then they would quickly come to us to say, so-and-so has had to leave us for X reason. Up front, we believed the stories that were being told to us because rationally it made sense. There was a girl initially who had come to work with EldoRa and Siman. Her name was Ree. And she came to live with them in Glastonbury while they were stationed there. She came to work with them as their housemaid, essentially, and cleaning staff, and just to, help take care of them. And EldoRa would always use the term that she wanted like a maid. She wanted they consider themselves royalty, and they wanted the royal treatment, to be honest. And to be honest, it was like we all kind of went along with that idea. Everyone who comes into working with EldoRa and Siman kind of at some point goes along with that idea that they are royalty and they deserve the best. So you naturally want to give them the best of yourself in whatever capacity. It's like there's a filter there, at least in my mind. Yeah, they're still human. They're still human beings. You know what I mean? But it was like you wanted to honor them with a kind of respect. So everything that I did, everything that anyone did, was done in the utmost reverence for them, because you wanted maybe we really did just kind of wanted that acknowledgement. Maybe that's what it was.
Yeah, I'm so glad they were able to find you. A lot of fans, EldoRa and Siman fans, although they were really smitten to Siman and EldoRa, they love you, and they were fighting for you, and how EldoRa treated you. They saw through that.
They did. Wow. Oh, I actually only 2 people could find me afterwards because I cut myself off from everything. Yeah, I was surprised that they could, but they told me that as well, that it looked demonic. Yeah, I think
it did. It did, and I think
you had to go through that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And I think there was only maybe about a 2-week period, between myself coming on board to work and you transitioning out. So we never really met or communicated in any way. But I kind of fault myself a little bit now, because I should have noticed these signs. It was like red flags coming up. But the way that EldoRa and Siman at the time described these things, you just thought, okay, people are just leaving, I guess.
Right. Yeah.
There was always this kind of smoke screen between us seeing what was really going on versus, it was like a red flag was raised, but you're like, oh, okay, well, that was just, I guess she just had to go, you know, or what. So it's like you didn't question it at first, and then you were so excited. Myself, I was so excited just to come on board at the time that I'm not questioning.
Me too.
Yeah, I'm not questioning these things, and I know better, you know, but at the time it's just like, why didn't I know better? You know?
Major red flags everywhere.
Yeah. But transitioning now to you, let's hear your story. How did you first find ENS, and what led you to work? How did you come on board, and you know what ultimately led you to working with them initially?
Hello, soul family! Surprise! We have the most mind-blowing, ridiculous, magical, I'm literally running short of words, story to share with you all. This is going to be the most 5D story you've ever heard. I invite every single one of you to stay till the very, very end, because the story just keeps getting crazier and crazier and explodes with the craziness at the very end.
Yeah. It's been a journey since I left. It's been a whole, I've been processing a lot. I think it's 6 months ago now, and I'm starting to be able to I'm distancing myself a little bit more now. But at that time, I think I was just like you, Hera. I was awakening. I was waking up to all these things, and I stumbled upon Eldora and Siman, and they gave me like very weird vibes. I didn't like them actually. So I just, closed down the video and watched something else. Like Feel Good and Lori Led and stuff like that, more like calm types. But they kept popping up on my front page, and then I just somehow just started watching them, and it just felt nice that they had so many answers for everything. It was like they were honest about stuff that other spiritual teachers weren't. And it just felt like some kind of closure or a more direct path. And I just felt really, they were really good, or Eldora, I think primarily her, was really good at making it sound like you were really lucky to find them. Like,
yes,
like you were the special ones. Like, one of the 144,000 who... So I just started watching them more and more, and all of a sudden I was just listening to them all day. And just like as I woke up in the morning, I put on their video and I started watching everything from the beginning. And I just had a feeling that someday I was going to meet them. And I just knew that, I don't know why, I think just something within me just knew that I was going, I actually feel like I would come live with them at some point. And then they posted that they had like an available position, and I applied for it, and they never returned. And then I think a couple months later, she posted on Telegram that she was looking for a handmaiden. And I was like, that's me. Like, no matter how creepy that position sounds, I was like, it's Eldora, she knows what she's doing. And I was just like, that's me. And then she reached out on, I think on Instagram, and she was like, just like, tell me a little bit about yourself and blah, blah, blah. And like you, Hera, we didn't even need like a call or anything. It was just like, she said that it was set up by our guides and very aligned. So, when I was making food, to just show them what kind of food that I made. And she asked me if I could come within 2 weeks, like fly from Denmark to the UK to work for them. And I was so blindly doing everything she told me that I was just like, okay. And I had a husband at that time I was living with. And I thought that working for them, I thought that would like it did create a whole new timeline for me, but I thought it would be like for good. I thought I would be one of the, I don't know, special or chosen ones. And it feels really bad to say that. It feels really like, I don't know, not narcissistic in some way, but that's how they make you feel, actually, that you are really, really special to be in their presence.
These energies are not kidding around. They are not kidding around. There's no space for ego. And another thing I'm getting very strongly to share with you guys, many of you guys know the story of how our house right now is a full-fledged mystery school, our house specifically, because many of you know that I made a casual post saying, oh, I would love to have someone come and help us with this. And then many people replied saying, we'd love to come. And then one girl, we were guided, and she was guided that she's the one. So she flew in to live with us and help us with all the work as an employee. And then once she came in, we were told that this is a full-fledged mystery school. So what is coming in right now to share with you guys is that when you're in your lessons, your ego will convince you of stories. Your ego will convince you. So for example, Rhea and I had a talk this morning where she wanted nothing more than to work with us, nothing more. Like that's all she was obsessed about. She was applying in January, applying in February, applying in April, applying in March, like every month. And then finally, we never saw any of those applications. But when it was time, we saw it and we flew her in, and now she works here. But now her ego is saying, I left my husband, my soul just chose this path, and I'm here now, and all these stories. And I'm very good at catching the ego. So, and she's here more as an initiate to learn and fast forward in her ascension. So I said to her today, I said, the pity party has to end. I said, I said to her, I said, you know how your ego has convinced you that you have this great life back in Hungary that you left? I said, may I remind you that you actually didn't have a life. You were sick and you were fed up of your life. And she's like, oh my God, you're so right. So the words have to change. So I literally said to her, write down on your mirror every morning, literally write down on a piece of paper saying, and also activate gratitude. And this is coming for many of you. Many of you don't even know this, that you think you're in gratitude, but you're not.
Jeez, this is what it's like to have been in a cult.
It was a nightmare. At the end, it was like even the kids, all of them, Sistar, Merlin, Nicole, all ganged up on me. They were Liara. They were all trying to like just ordering me about, like giving me order. Like I'm not a human being. It was demands here, demands there. Do this. Oh, you're not fulfilling this. Oh, you're not doing that. I was like, holy shit.
Yeah, and so many red flags. While I was texting with Eldora, like she would get mean and like my mom was really scared that it was a cult, and she was right. But I was because Eldora was kind of building this, I don't know, this bond with me as we were texting over, messaging over Instagram, and it felt like she wanted to really help me with that whole situation with my husband. So I thought that I could share some more personal things. And then I just told her like a bit like jokingly, like, haha, my mom thinks you're a cult, but she's so like asleep that she doesn't know what's real. And then Eldora was just like, I don't want to hear about any of your problems. I don't want you to bring your mom or your husband into our home. They're very low vibration and we don't want that, but you're very high vibration, so we just want like you, and your husband is not allowed to come visit you at our house.
There's hardly any tasks to do. What tasks are you talking about?
I'm not sure actually. I'm not sure what I feel. I just feel overwhelmed.
I want you to know that Siman and I have actually been doing a lot of your tasks. Last night we came home in the night and we changed all our bedding.
I know you.
Today we cooked. We're all doing it out of our love for you. Nicole helped you cook breakfast this morning.
I don't feel I've been doing a lot today. I just felt, I don't know what I feel. But I've seen that you've done a lot.
Do you feel you have any resistance towards me specifically?
I think so.
Because that's what I'm picking up, and everybody can chime in when the time is right, but I'm picking up some deep resistance to me, and it might originate from something from your chakras we don't know. But there's like a deep resistance trigger to anything I say, and it's coming up a lot in your field.
And I just very naively and blindly said yes to fly over to the UK within 2 weeks. And I don't know what the hell was going through my mind, but I said goodbye to my husband, and I thought that he would stay with me still. I thought everything would work out, but yeah, that wasn't the smartest thing to do. I was hired, I was given 3,333 a month for working for them, and that was kind of her way of controlling me because it was such a big amount of money. Well,
we made the same. We made the exact same.
Oh wow, okay.
For what you were doing for them and the hours you were putting in, no, that was not enough money.
No, no. Oh my God.
No.
Oh my God, because it just kept on, as both of you said, like it just became more and more and more, and at some point my hands were shaking. I didn't sleep. I actually didn't sleep the whole time I was there. Really, I did sleep some hours, but my body was so stressed, and my heart was pounding constantly.
We were guided to invite the entire Office of Christ team from all over the world to fly into England for solstice and cancel any other plans that we had, not even host an event. So you guys watched the last video where we talked about how we made a post saying, just for fun, we made a post saying, we're looking for a handmaiden, and then many people applied for the job, and there was only one. We weren't even looking for a job. I was just joking, to be quite honest. And then immediately re-applied, she came. You guys have watched the last video. We were shown that she's here because it's the Holy Trinity between Siman, me, and Re, which is the Divine Father, the Divine Mother, and the Divine Child. Re came in here, and within the second day, we were told that she's here as an initiate. She's here specifically as my initiate because right now I'm going through my training of training an initiate through the initiations of Isis, through the mystery schools of Isis, which is a huge honor. And the mystery schools of Isis are also really, really the most potent mystery schools, the hardest mystery schools, because Isis and Horus. So Siman brings in the Horus and activations and initiations, and I bring in the Isis initiations and activations, which I was shown just yesterday.
They loved Bumpy at first and inviting me to a restaurant and stuff. And then I feel like that went on for like maybe 3 days or something. And then the team arrived, and that's when everything shifted.
There's a picture on their Facebook right now, Facebook or in IG, and it's the new girl, Starla, and she's standing with a pose next to Siman, and Siman's got his hand on her waist, but like it's way down, like towards the butt area. And I'm like, that's a little inappropriate, don't we think? Yeah. And I feel they target everyone a specific way. The girls, they go after vulnerable women. I don't know why they hired me.
I was telling you guys earlier about, or I started to talk about it earlier. the message that I got from Eldora, and it was mainly towards Geraldine. She's like, oh my God, Geraldine's gonna shit when she hears this message. And this is the vision that I have. And it was all about, ever since Tulum, I couldn't get, it was way over the top. Ever since Tulum, I've been thinking about you all the time, Geraldine. It was this like full on, you're my sister, and there's this energy about you and like all this and that. So she definitely really seen a potential for what Geraldine could be, how to be that slave for her anyways, and she just went full for her anyways. And even the few phone calls we had with Eldora and Siman, or particularly just Geraldine having chats with them because they didn't want to chat. I was kind of that period where you're not allowed to talk with us for a month before, when you first work with us, you have to speak indirectly anyways. So they were talking to Geraldine and they were reassuring her how they were going to support her when they come to Croatia, and ironing all the creases out and figuring out how we're going to do all this. And they were very accommodating before we came there anyways. And then, yeah, obviously it all changed when we got there.
When the team arrived, that's when they started, telling me that I was lazy, I was entitled, almost that I wasn't intelligent. And I believed that. So, and they were like, so they, as you know, they were like on their royalty training, and I was in my
servant training.
So I had to scrub the floors, and she gave me a toothbrush to clean the bathtub, and I was cleaning the toilets every day, and she just kept coming with new tasks every single freaking hour, and I just couldn't, there weren't enough hours of the day, so I had to wake up, at 6 and just, start cleaning the house. She wanted me to remove all the bird poop from the lawn every day, and so I went out with like a small paper, like a napkin, and I removed it, every single one, and she would still come and tell me if there were any left because she didn't want to step in it.
She teaches the dark, the shadow side of the mystery school, and I teach the light, the knowledge of the father. She teaches the knowledge of the mother. And basically what that means is that Ree is also more balanced towards the light than her dark side. She needs to learn how to see ego tricks. She needs to learn how to face shadows. And Eldora brings that out in her very quickly as a master. So they have a soul contract to initiate with each other as a student disciple. And through that, Eldora graduates into her mastery level.
And they were always, picking on my food. Like they didn't really appreciate it, and they always said that Eldora's food was more amazing, and I don't know, something happened. I felt like Siman was more in the background, but every time she was there, he would become mean as well and really like pick on me and blame me and stuff.
But yeah, they were all about this weird, all these ideas she had about her and Geraldine. And then I told Geraldine that when we were there, when things got really bad, I was like, I thought she said she was like your soul sister, and like none of that is happening at all. And it was always the case of, okay, we got to work through our lessons, and then we'll just keep sticking it out because wait till we heal ourselves through these guys, and this is an opportunity, and just keep waiting it out, and things are going to get better. And then after a while, you're like, no, things are not going to get better. It's just constantly pushing harder and harder. It's always an excuse for things to be intense stress. And yeah, we all know what that was like.
Why don't you share with Nicole now one such trigger, and Nicole will help you de-trigger yourself. And because she's actually been watching everything, especially today. That's why I'm saying today is the ideal day to say, hey, this was my trigger.
Like I just feel energies, and I just this is completely just off my intuition, I'm asking you this.
Do you get triggered when you see women in power?
Yeah.
Or women with authority?
Intimidated.
Nicole, you can take over from here.
Do you think it's because you have any blocks to stepping into your own power?
I'm so scared of stepping into my own power. Because I don't want to misuse it.
But also stay on track about the trigger.
So when you were interacting today with us and with EldoRa specifically, is that what's coming up? Are you feeling triggered by her and her powers?
I think so. I'm not fully aware, but I think so, yes.
What does it feel like when it's coming up?
Like I want to hide.
What kind of phrases or wording, or if you can remember, what kinds of things would they say to you?
So EldoRa came up to me one day and she was like, "My guides told me that you're a spoiled little bitch." And I was like, okay. And she was like, "Yeah, I'm shocked myself, but they said bitch, like you're a spoiled little bitch." And you know, they love bombed me at first, and the team arrived, and then, you know, they started to point out all these things that were wrong with me. And then all of a sudden, then they came up to me one morning and they said that they couldn't sleep because they had had a vision all night that I was laying on and this is the fucking crazy part, that I was laying on the ground with the whole team around me, screaming like a mad woman, behaving like a mad woman. Then, you know, we are on these trips with the team, and then we are at this, I don't know what it is, like Airbnb, like the garden that is connected to that, doing a picnic. And they give us some kind of syrup. I don't believe it was just wheat syrup. I believe it could have been something else. And we take it, and I can't feel much. I can't really feel anything. But all of a sudden, Siman just looks at me like directly in the eyes, and he's like, come here now. And then I was like, okay, that's weird. And he's saying it like very authoritative, and I still don't know what happened. I'm still one big question mark. But then I come and I join the group, and then Siman starts talking, and that's when they say that he's talking with the voice of God. I don't know if you saw that. You probably saw that transmission.
I activated the voice of God. So when I'm channeling the voice of God.
But what did they call it? The voice of truth.
The voice of truth.
It's called the voice of truth, or the voice of God activation. So Siman got this half an hour before we went to their house. So we arrived in their house for this little picnic, and we just sat down. It looked like magical 5D. We sit down and we decided to do plant medicine. And imagine, we're all in sacred ceremony. Something guided me to do a micro dose of plant medicine that day. Something, I don't know. And none of them knew I was bringing it. So we brought some plant medicine and said, hey guys, does anyone feel called to do plant medicine? Because we're being like a very, very micro dose of plant medicine. And I think everybody raised their hands. Everybody did it. Like, these guys have never done it, and everybody was guided to do it. So we all, in a very sacred way, Siman and I literally poured the exact amount for everybody, and it was a micro dose. We took it, and all of a sudden, because Siman had received this voice of truth activation just 30 minutes ago, this energy started coming in him, and it was very palpable. And all of us were just looking at him thinking, okay, he's gonna say something. And Siman's like, guys, everyone's looking at me. I know I'm about to say something, but I have no idea what I'm gonna say. And something in me said, record it. And so I recorded it for you guys, and it's so powerful because it was a frequency. It almost felt like God was speaking. Because you know how you always think, okay, I'm on my path, but how real is this? Shit just got super fucking real, guys.
And as he begins talking, I just start bawling like hysterically. and it becomes worse and worse and worse. And then I just begin tossing myself around and just rolling around in the grass, and it feels like a possession. That's how it feels. Like my consciousness is here and I have no control over my body, and I'm like in a fight with this thing that's in my, I don't know what it is, but this consciousness, something that is taking control over my body, and I'm trying to regain control, but my body is just doing messed freaking up stuff. Like I'm like walking, walking backwards like this, and I'm like doing, like I used to do light language before, and I'm doing that, but my hands are just moving in crazy ways. Like my body is moving in crazy ways. I would never be able to do that normally, and I'm just saying all these weird things, and everything is turning upside down. Like I'm seeing like the ground lifting itself up above me, and I just remember that I come to my senses in like a couple of seconds, and I can just see Siman filming me, and I just knew something was wrong there, because who the fuck would film you while you're going through such a distressing experience? And it was not pleasant at all. It was not beautiful. It was not anything like, it didn't feel like my soul was merging with me. And I'm just, as it begins to, wear off, I'm still like in this, trying to bring my awareness into my body. It keeps like switching, but I can just, as I walk back into the house, I can just hear EldoRa sitting talking about her amazing experience, how special it was for her. And I was just like, haven't you just watched me? I went through all this crazy ass shit, and you're just talking about how you're the mother of all of us, and that it was so special for her, and everything was about her. And I was just like, what? And then I called my parents. They put me into bed, but no one could really explain to me what just happened. Everyone was just like, you're home now, you're safe now, you're safe with us. And I called my parents, and I was like, they put me on some kind of drug. I don't know what it is, but I need to go home. And then Siman comes in, and he starts using his tools on me, like swinging this crystal thing over me, and his eyes were like doing like this. I don't know what was going on, but he just said some weird things. And then I said, did you put me on some kind of drug that I didn't know about? And he was like, you did it out of your own free will. It was you who did it. We didn't force you to do anything. I was like, whoa, this is a nightmare. I literally thought that I was in some kind of nightmare.
How did you feel when you watched my videos? Did you have the same feeling, or did it become more after coming here?
Yes, I had that feeling as well. Like
you were triggered by me.
I loved you, but your power intimidated me.
Wow. I'm very proud of you for speaking up, because I felt all of this, and I'm glad we're all able to talk about it.
And it came up a lot today.
Yeah. Today, it's so interesting it came up today. Because today I was almost 105% Divine Mother. You know what I mean? Like there are some days when you're 99% or 94%. Today I was like, I'm just exuding Divine Mother. You can see it, right? I'm fully in my Divine Mother power right now.
Maybe that's part of it too.
But it has nothing to do with you.
No, I know that.
Yeah.
But I'm saying today, especially, like I gave her my dress.
That triggers it. Because she sees your power, it triggers her lack of being able to stand in her own power. And she projects it on you, subconsciously, not consciously.
Can you explain that to me? Because I don't understand that.
She has a belief that in the past lifetime she misused power, and because of that she's not allowing herself to fully stand up in her power, because she feels like she will hurt other people. She felt in that past lifetime she misused power to hurt others. So she does not trust her own powers, that So she denies herself from standing in the power. But when she sees you, it reminds her of a woman in power, and it reminds her of the glaring, obvious thing that she's avoiding.
And I feel like I closed that part down extremely.
So I have a question for you. When you get triggered by me, do you project on me? You don't project.
Are you blaming her in your mind for
Yeah.
what you're feeling? Maybe subconsciously, but I always know that I know it's my own.
Your logical mind knows, but your subconscious or your emotional body feels, I'm not safe.
Yes.
That's why you feel like hiding.
Yes.
I have not felt safe today.
Yes. Yes.
But that's the illusion of the mind, because you couldn't be more safe.
Yeah.
You couldn't be more safe. I like how you said that. Exactly.
This is the most safe place on earth for a person like you to be. Like, we're all sensitive souls and we all understand exactly.
We're all empaths. We're all.
You're more safe here than with your own family.
They pushed me into allowing. Oh, I wasn't allowing them to do it, but. And after that, things just. It was so. I don't know if they planned it that well, but it seemed like. From a distance, it seemed very well planned that they gave me this drug or something, and they told me it was a walk-in, and then they told me now you have to integrate this walk-in, and that's by working fucking hard and using your physical body. So they were like, now you have to step into this servant role and really use your body because you're a fucking spoiled princess. So I was staying at home scrubbing the floors when everyone went out, and I was in an emotional mess, and I was crying all the time. I couldn't stop it. I was panicking. I was like, I'm so alone. Nobody wants to talk to me about this experience. Like, everyone was just like, you will understand at some point or something like that. And I was just going crazy, and I just had to work hard meanwhile. And then they were sitting in the living room and I was cleaning the toilets, and then I went in to join them, but I was still crying, and then EldoRa is looking at me, and then she's like, Ree, what are you going through? My experience was that we could share what we are going through, because that's what we did the other evenings, like we were sharing personal things. So I decided to share that I felt extremely alone, and that I just didn't know what to do with myself, and I just felt stressed with all the tasks. And then she responds in a way that I really had not expected, and she starts to just telling me how spoiled I am, that I should just, actually shut up and do my work. And she goes on like that for an hour, and then she asks everyone to chime in. So the whole group tells me what's wrong with me, and I thought that I can't even remember her name. EldoRa's assistant. I don't know why.
Liara? Ariel?
No.
Nicole?
Nicole. Yeah. I keep forgetting her name. I don't know why, but we were like, we were bonding as sisters, as I had this whole walk-in experience. So I really thought that I had, a confidence in her, that I could confide with her. And then she starts to chime in and, tell me how ungrateful I am and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And that's when I'm just sitting there and I'm just like, I can't do this anymore. I have to leave. I can't take it in. But something happens so that after this session, I go into my room and then I actually believe everything they just told me. And I just lost myself more and more. And for some reason, Merlin and Sistara had recorded this whole session, and they said it was a coincidence, but I have that recording now, and as I listened to it afterwards, because I wanted to realign myself so I could come back with them, I listened to it every day, and it sucked out all of my energy every time I listened to it. So energetically, there is something really off with that whole thing. And yeah, so after that experience, I'm just, they won't talk to me. I'm just doing my work, and the whole team thought I was lazy because they kept telling them that I was lazy. But the reason I was there was because EldoRa needed a student, and if I was perfect, then I wouldn't be a student. So that's why. So I just worked, I don't know, 10, 11 hours or something every day. I don't know.
Now, as he started speaking, Ree, the girl in the yellow on the corner, Ree started going through something more than, you can explain in words.
Massive.
It was massive. She started wailing and sobbing and screaming, and Siman, instead of stopping his channeling and going to her, because he's in his shaman mode, he's extremely connected. He's the most connected shaman I know of. He kept going. He wouldn't stop. He wouldn't stop his transmission. It was a transmission, and we were all sitting there. And Ree was going
She was going bananas. Like, she was wailing like a baby.
And it was huge. And guys, so we didn't know what was happening. We just thought like maybe, it's plant medicine, and our vortex is very powerful. So even though it's a microdose, it literally felt like a full-blown ayahuasca ceremony on steroids. So everyone's like, what did you guys give us? Wait till you...
It felt like my channeling had opened up a pillar of light, and we were connected to the dimension of God right above us, like a torch.
It was like your voice was all over. Like,
Yeah.
I was hearing your voice with my whole body.
It was the voice, because the voice of Hathor's was channeling through, and it's the highest frequency we can experience on Earth, and that was activating her DNA.
So another thing I'm getting for Ree, this is completely intuition. Hold on. Okay, I get it. Is that Ree is having a lot, this is what, tell me Ree if this resonates, this is just purely intuition. Is that Ree is having a lot of resistance of, I am royalty, why am I doing the house chores? She's not getting it, like, it's almost like she's not, does that resonate, Ree? It's almost like,
I don't want to admit it, and I don't want to admit it to myself, but I feel like I just had a walk in there.
Say it.
I don't know what to say. I feel like, yes, I feel sorry for myself.
Exactly. Bingo. That's what's causing everything.
I don't want to admit it.
You nailed it. That is what's causing everything. It's almost like your ego is telling me you're their equal. You're their equal. This is what the ego is doing. Exactly.
Yeah.
You're their equal. Why are you doing this? You need to be doing something else. You need to be sitting on the... And that is 100% the ego. You're not our equal right now. You are actually 10 years, maybe 20 years away from being where we are in terms of our mastery. And that I'm saying just to your ego, not to you. So that if the ego can step aside. Nobody in this room is our equal, or even close to it. So I said one thing very strongly to our retreat people, and I'll say it to you now. I said it to 3 people in the retreat. Don't mistake our kindness for our weakness. Don't mistake our humility for our weakness.
And it was just up and down. Like, she would come, and then she would be happy, and then she would come and tell me off, and then I couldn't talk to her, and then it was too heavy what I shared with her, and it just, the contact became less and less, even though I was living with them, and it was just never good enough. Never. And I didn't really eat. I lost so much weight because I didn't have time. I had to prepare 3 meals plus snacks for them, plus doing all the practical work, plus being like their contact person to the outside world, and plus my husband was wanting to divorce me, and they were like saying it was a good thing and blah blah, and they were telling me not to be in contact with my family. They didn't want me to call my family. And then they came up to me and said that they were going for a retreat and that I could go home for a vacation. And the last day before I went home, they had this event. I can't remember what portal it was, but they were telling me to, like, first, EldoRa told me that, like, it was supposed to be my day off, and I asked her, can I get a day off soon, because I can't do it anymore. My body is declining. And she was like, yeah, my guides told me that I needed to give you a break soon, so yeah. And then the day came, and they said, oh, can you just, stay home and prepare all the food for us, and then you're off. So I prepared all the food for them for the whole day and cleaned and whatever. And then Siman said, my guides told me that you can't go because you will be not be a vibrational match if you're not close to us, because the vibration will be so high during this event. So I had to be out in the garden all day.
That's the Merlin event.
It was a Merlin event, that's it, yeah. So I was outside after preparing everything for them, and then they called me in to come and do a ridiculous dance session with them where I had to pretend like I was happy and everything. I don't know if you saw it, but
I did. I remember that.
It felt so fake to be like, yay, everything is amazing. And in reality, I just feel like I was kept out in the yard and just being called in for like 2 minutes, and then I was had to be out again.
All right.
This was so much fun. Yeah. Thank you. Okay.
The working hard is non-negotiable. Nobody complains about work. She works 10-hour days. We have worked 16-hour days. Siman and I worked our asses off. We need to be delegating more. And Tulum, you saw how much I worked. Mm-hmm. You saw how much I worked in Tulum.
Of course. You have some resistance to physical work.
A lot of resistance.
That's separate from your trigger of EldoRa.
You can help her with that. She doesn't like her job.
I don't need to help her with that. It's just victim mentality.
Correct.
You just need to remove it right away like a bandage.
In fact, that's why, actually Siman got guidance the other day. And I told you this also, in that it was more in fun and games, and we were talking about this, and after the walk, but just before the walk-in, I think. You know what Siman said? Right now, Ree's initiation is she should be scrubbing the floors. I'm not even joking, your guide said that. She should be washing bathrooms and scrubbing floors. It did not make sense to me. Now it makes sense. I have done all that. So the resistance to physical work is another big thing.
That's also ego resistance.
It's completely ego.
Because physical work, if you read the ancient texts, when spiritual students used to come to ashrams, which is a very good example of what you're doing here, they used to do 16 hours of labor to
learn one thing.
Remove their ego.
And to learn one thing. No, even to learn one thing from the master.
Yeah.
For the toothbrush.
Yeah.
And also,
so what you're doing is you're being treated like royalty in comparison, and you're saying this is too much.
And you know what I would say to the ego if I were you? I'm not going to wear good clothes from today till I tame you like a dog. I'm going to wear torn clothes. This is what I would do. I'm serious. If I had the same thing, you know what I would do? I would not dress like a princess. I would say today, I'm going to put away all my clothes. I'm going to dress like a servant. I'm not joking. That's what I would do. I would actually do that. I would say today, I'm going to dress and I'm going to starve my ego. I'm not going to act like I'm royalty. I'm going to earn that. That's the training you're being put through right now. And one other thing which is coming very strong at me right now is when you come to, you remember you told me that you saw that you were coming as a disciple, but in a positive way, like a student of spirituality, but you used the word disciple. Think about it this way, disciples come with reverence. Disciples come with gifts. You saw Ariel brought me a gift. You saw everybody's given me a gift. You came empty-handed. But you've received a million gifts already. You've received the healing from Siman. You've received so much love from me. I gave you my clothes to wear. I booked you a massage tomorrow. You're acting like a spoiled little brat right now, and you need to know that it's not going to be welcome.
And then I went home the day after, and I thought that I would be going back. Of course, I thought it was just a holiday. And then the day before I was supposed to return, my husband says that 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 maybe it's not good for us to be together anymore, because I was living in this whole other world that he didn't participate in, which I completely understand now, because I was so brainwashed. I couldn't see clearly at all. And then I called Maida to tell her that my husband had just left me, and then she was like, what does your heart want? Does your heart want to go back with Eldora and Siman, or does it want to reconcile with your family also? Because I had also left my family behind. And I was like, my heart wants to stay here in Denmark and make up for everything that happened. And I texted Eldora. I was really scared to text her, actually, because I also, like you experienced, even though I was living with them, I couldn't contact her directly. It always had to go through someone else. I said that my husband had decided to leave me, and that I was an emotional mess. And then they were like, because they were already very much like, I was ungrateful, I was not in gratitude, I was like just a burden to have around them and stuff like that. I don't know why I stayed in that, but I did. And then they were like, yeah, we also told our guides that we only want you back if you get 1000% aligned and 1000% in gratitude. And I was like, that's not where I am right now, because I'm heartbroken. So they were like, okay, get back to us whenever you feel like you are aligned and in gratitude, because we don't want someone crying around the house. And then I went to live with my parents, because I couldn't live in the apartment I used to live in with my husband. And it was just amazing to be back with him, and I felt so relieved, and I could just feel in my heart that I just wouldn't be able to go back to them, even though I knew that I was missing. I still believed that I was missing out on my life's biggest chance, but I just wasn't capable. So I texted Eldora and said, like, I'm so sorry, and thank you for everything you've given me. And I was really actually grateful, because they changed my life, because I realized everything I had back home by going to live with them. And then she was like, okay, your guides just want you to know that you missed out on your biggest chance and a really, really big timeline, but do you just want us to throw everything out in the garbage? Like, all my stuff was still with them. And it just hit me. I think she knew exactly what to say to make me panic. And then Merlin became my mentor in realigning me, and I just watched their videos, and I did these very messed up rituals that Siman like to extract entities from my system, and I didn't eat, and I didn't really talk to my family, even though I was living with them, because I wanted to get back into alignment. And I actually kind of had a second chance with my husband, but I was like, I have to do this. I have to go back with them. So I shut that door completely. And it was the most horrible couple of weeks in my life, actually, because I just had nightmares, and I woke up at 4 a.m. every day in panic and just thinking that I missed out on the biggest chance in my life, and like I missed out on Ascension.
We are at the threshold of a great shift in consciousness. Humanity is awakening as a tsunami of light descends upon our planet.
When I was fired in a really, really, really disgusting way.
And this is something I want you to remember. No matter how bleak your circumstances seem, no matter how difficult your trials seem right now, just know that the universe is not punishing you. Just know that this is not happening to you. This is happening for you. This is all for your highest good. And this is going to show you how strong you are, how resilient you are. And the biggest piece of advice I can give you, that I can leave you with right now, is that it's all mind. It's all in your mind. The way we face these trials is by changing all of our negative thoughts to positive, and change that inner critic voice that says you cannot do it, that you can't make it out of it, and become more solution oriented, become more result oriented. Literally, you have to talk yourself out of this by changing your programming. If you just allow yourself to go into negativity and depression and give up, then you've already lost the battle. But the whole game is here to teach you that you can accomplish anything with the power of your mind. Just change all your negative thoughts to positive. Listen to positive affirmations and talk to yourself in a positive way, and talk yourself out of this in a way that you know that no matter how bleak your circumstances are, you are not alone.
The day after I was fired or terminated or whatever, and Siman came out with that video on Facebook. He hadn't shown his face in weeks. Like, it was all Eldora, 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 Eldora. Like, every post was Eldora. It was getting sick. I was like, why is she posting constantly? Like, anyway, he finally came out with a video, and 2 videos like back to back, and they got a ton of engagement and stuff like that.
I was curious if you heard anything about the video guy who filmed the event. They hired him in Dubrovnik, and he saw straight through them right away, and he started to be recording certain things they were saying and everything. And there's a recording of them basically saying that they wanted everyone to, that this one girl, me, she worked for us, we trusted her, she worked in our house, and then she turned against us along with 30 other people. They were our closest soul family, and basically it starts to go into the fact that they wanted to do an activation and go to battle, and
They made up a scenario.
Yeah.
And said we're psychically attacking them. They're all receiving psychic attacks, including like Ariel and Liara and all, and that this is going to make your shit come up when we do this. But I think you guys are ready. You're all warriors, and I've been watching you all. And
so manipulative. It was like he'd say something like, I'm not asking you guys to be warriors or anything like that. And then like later on in the conversation, he said, you know what? Let's go to battle.
And there was no compassion at all. He was saying that if you're going through it right now, if you're going through a dark time, this is for you. You know, they were literally thinking that they were trying to feed off of that fear that they thought that they had instilled in me in that moment, that I, just pulling the rug out from under my feet like that, right to my face. Like, literally the complete 180, smiling in my face during the conference while they're literally just yanking everything out from under me.
On the day that they fired me, it was November 27th, the day of the Hermetic Principles of Thoth. I attended the event with them live. I was there live with them while the event was going on. And typically, what would happen inside of the event, we would attend live, we would monitor the chat and stuff, make sure things were running cohesively inside, make sure there were no hiccups in communication inside the New Earth Mystery School with all of the members. We were there tasked to just kind of oversee things. And a couple of times I did this with Liara, who headed the Zoom meetings, the Zoom recordings for the entire Office of Christ, as well as the members of NEMS. I was sitting live with them while the presentation was going on, while Siman was speaking. We were even chatting on the side inside of the Office of Christ, inside of the WhatsApp chat, because we kind of keep this, on the back end, we communicate little things to each other to make sure things are running correctly. And during that day, I noticed they were really chatty. Like, Eldora could not stay focused on the event whatsoever. It was actually like borderline disrespectful to Siman how talkative she was. It's like when Siman was speaking, it's like she needed attention on herself inside of the group. And so they were just constantly going back and forth with little things, and they would praise Siman inside of the group to make it look like their attention was on him, but really it was just like a misdirection to really make Eldora feel like she needed attention on her, so let's just give Eldora all this attention and love and random conversation for nothing.
I actually didn't even know they were recording at one point of one of these I think it was that one reality show and Split. I didn't know that they were recording me. I actually didn't. When I saw that, I was like, are you fucking kidding me? And it was really it's really unsettling to see yourself online in it. I didn't know someone was standing there, because that was a really bad day for me altogether, because she treated me really badly that morning, because we all slept in a little bit, because it was her birthday the night before Eldora's, and I literally woke up to this horrible text from her saying she expected I'd have tea ready, and like no one had said anything before we went to bed. Like, we were on our vacation.
Yeah.
But that vacation was all about for them to get pampered after the drug situation. Are they
doing drugs? Are they doing drugs?
So I took psychedelics because during my time there, I felt, especially when I got stressed a lot, I felt like I got disconnected from my own higher self and guides, although I was a good channeler, energy healer. So I had to use psychedelics to reach my guides. And what they told me is that I need to run. Eldora is the reptilian queen. And she's getting my light energy, and she sent like a scorpion parasite entity to get my light energy. I can feel it in my head. Here, it always hurts even until now. When my shield is down, it's still in my head, so I have to siege myself again and again just to remove it, because it keeps on coming back and leeching my life force or my light energy. And yeah, that's how I quit. My guides helped me to do so. She told me, run, you don't need Eldora, escape Eldora.
So it was just so much of that. But I wanted to talk about the drug thing because I feel like I was with them a lot. Like, I don't know what they could have done behind the scenes. Once the gummies were caught, which, by the way, there was 2 jars of gummies, and we have even a picture of Eldora wrote, anyone wants some candy, that she had sent from England. So I'm kind of glad we have that as a screenshot, as well as a voice recording of her saying, oh, Siman's so proud of himself, and he's so he thinks he's so smart right now. He took half the weed gummies and put in with candy, and we're going to take it on the plane. And so we have the voice of this recording.
This is so fucking hilarious. So we ordered a lot of gummies because we don't know if Croatia has weed or not, right? So we ordered a whole bunch of gummies, and Siman went today to the supermarket like a really very brave soldier, very responsible soldier, and he bought these 2 gummy bottles, and he filled half of it with our gummies and all of that so we can take it in our suitcase. And he's sitting here feeling very proud of himself. And I said to him, well, do the math. If I don't share even 1 gummy with the kids, how long is it going to last me? And then if I share with the kids, so we were doing all these math just for fun. And then he's like, don't worry, Croatia will have stuff. It's not like a fucking village. And he says, if the guides don't provide us weed there, he's like, we'll just say, okay, guides, you tell them.
I was like, guides, 3D is getting very intense. So if you don't give us weed, we're going to go to the next level and start doing heroin and cocaine.
They were saying, oh, the earth swallowed up one of those jars. Actually, the police took it. So I saw it on the article. So they've been gloating about how the earth or their guides took the other jar to save them. But anyways, once those were gone, they were shitting themselves. Eldora and Siman were shitting themselves about they even gave the mushrooms they had to Johnny to hide. I don't think that they had anything after that point, because the gummies, they were doing a lot. But Siman told us that his weed addiction, or he didn't call it an addiction, he said it got next level in England, and he was smoking 3 joints at night time. And I don't think he was doing that in Croatia. Just the gummies is all they had access to. But they made me, they were trying to guilt me into finding them weed when we first got there, even though I hadn't even unpacked my suitcase yet. And they were saying, you told us you were going to get us some weed. You say you're going to do something. And I was there 3 days. I was literally still
processing,
jet lagged. But anyways, with the nose thing, she takes tons of, she's constantly going through these bottles of hay fever things. I think it's emotional stuff. Now, I'm not saying maybe there's something I haven't seen, but I just don't know. They overworked me so much. I was there sometimes 6 days a week. Well, one of the weeks it was 6 days, and I would be there till nighttime. Darkness came. So she said that she thinks it's something to do with her ex-husband, how she stayed with him too long, why she has this nose issue. But I think it's just emotional stuff that's really, that she can't get rid of. But she's always going with her nose, and her eyes are itchy, and it's a whole thing with her face, which is not a healthy sign, right? Long term. But I don't know if there was anything they were keeping from me in terms of that. They definitely seemed really miserable, so I wouldn't be surprised if there was something that was kind of kept from me in that realm, because they probably had to keep certain things from me. They couldn't tell me everything, probably.
We tried to live in a couple communities beforehand as well, and same kind of lesson, but this was obnoxiously taught to us. Yeah.
But the part of the lesson is, once you learn the lesson, now you don't need the repeat of that lesson. I guess just okay, I guess I needed this one final push here to really remember who I am.
Yes.
Okay. I didn't think I needed that, but okay, I guess I do. And maybe us having worked so closely with them too is a reminder that, yeah, there is real evil in this world. I'm truly convinced of that.
I realized there was nothing I could do to please Eldora. She just needed to be right, and she was trying to tap into me psychically, trying to literally tap into me. I never gave her permission to do that. I didn't give her permission to do that, and I don't, by the way. And you can't anymore, by the way. Just in case we needed to clarify that. So psychic attacks and things like that, she would do it to me. She would project onto me. I never once even told her off. I never cussed at her. I never yelled or raised my voice at her. Nothing. Not one thing.
And also her drops, like when Eldora has a drop, like she hasn't had a high in a while, had her fix in a while, you can tell when you're dealing with an addict. I know. It's just
so moody.
The behavior. Yeah.
But then I realized truly what all of that conversation was for. They were misdirecting me to think, to direct my attention to the chat instead of what was really happening behind the scenes. While the event was taking place, Liara was basically in the background removing all of my access to everything that I had worked on. That same week, Eldora had tasked all the kids with basically attacking me one by one with getting information, like little project tools and templates that I had used to create certain things and graphics on the internet. I wound up basically being suckered and tricked into giving these templates to the kids because Eldora, they were demanding them of me. Really nasty too. Like my whole relationship with these kids changed in a matter of weeks. It wasn't us working as a team. It was them just firing tasks at me. Do this, do that, need this, get this done ASAP.
The moment I was let go, a day later, about 2 days later, I talked with her mom. I was like, hey, I just really felt like checking in with you to let her know, like, this is what just happened to me. I'm worried about your daughter. I'm worried about, and I told Nicole's mom too, Jenny, and I said, look, this is what's going on. Like, have you checked in with Nicole? Is she okay? Does she seem off to you? Because this is what's going on behind the scenes, and I think you should know. And they're like, gosh, like, we get it. We understand. We can see it ourselves, but how do we convince our children that they're in something corrupt? And I think for a while there, I was so worried about the kids that I was like, I hope they're not getting involved into anything like sex trafficking or sexual trauma. I just with Eldora and Siman, I just literally don't know how low they will go. I just don't know. I'm not surprised anymore. Okay. I'm kind of like, I've seen this kind of behavior, not sex trafficking stuff, but just the betrayal I have suffered through people in my life has, like, when I see it, I'm not surprised by it anymore, but you still have to go through it and process it, if you know what I mean. And you still got to get through it. And it's hard seeing other people who've never been through it go through it. So I'm just like, I see Sistara, I see the brainwashing she's going through. Linda, I hope you can convince her not to go back.
We tried to save her.
We tried to save her, yeah.
It was a bit of we kind of sacrificed ourselves a little bit. We went out of our way to, like, she was leaving like the same time as us. Eldora was like, gave us an ultimatum. She's like, it's either she's like, we're done with her. It's either she moves in with you, or she's going back to her parents. You want to tell her that?
Yeah, she said either she's going to live with you, because we can't have her living with the kids like Merlin and Nicole anymore. Because you know the whole reason why this is because Eldora was jealous of Sistara getting too close to Siman. The exact same thing happened with the girl Elvira. Anytime that someone she feels gets too close, because she's so wounded, so she was, whatever, all her shit came up, she's bitten off more than she can chew is what I'd say. But anyways, she was like, okay, the guides are chiming in, Sistara needs to go. The only option is if she goes, lives with you, she'll take care of Willow and she'll work a little bit with OC. She's easily replaceable within the OC. She's like a kindergartner in terms of like what she can offer us right now.
Oh my God, look at that bullshit.
Yeah, and I knew I was leaving at this point. So I kind of timed it where I said, no, it doesn't align for her to live with us, so that she would instantly tell Sistara to get on a plane. Because I was thinking, if I hadn't timed it that way, she might have freaked out and been like, oh my God, I actually need Sistara's help. Because, you know, like, I was cooking all the food and, like, I don't know, they need help. They're so weak. They can barely, like, literally, like, Eldora gets, like, dizzy and lightheaded. You have to, like, get her a snack, and she's like a mess. Like, you know, I think she's just really not well. So anyways, that was good, because then they told Sistara to go back to the US, and then we went. Johnny brought me over, and I went.
We knew her mom was wanting her back as well.
Yeah, her mom was commenting like, my daughter's joined a cult, I need to get her home and everything.
I called her mom.
Did you?
I did. Right as I was leaving, I was on the horn with both Linda and Nicole's mom. I think Nicole's mom is they both knew what was going on over there.
Yeah, we spoke to
But they were
Nicole's mom.
trying to stay on the outside of it to not look like the enemy in the eyes of their kids, you know, because once shit hits the fan, it needs to be Sistara's decision. It needs to be Nicole's decision to leave that environment and not their parents look like they had anything to do with it, which they didn't. But it's like not even the impression. But oh yeah, I let them know exactly what was going on because I told Linda, I was like, look, I was just fired for no reason, for not doing it, for no thing that I can really think of that I've done. I completed every task that there was no reason here. Just because they could, they did. They fired me.
So I don't know if you've seen the Toronto Facebook community, but they've been flagged as predators for years now anyways. Okay. Like they're all peeved at them, but nobody ever did anything, you know. Mm-hmm. And even before, when I first told my buddy Tamash, who's the guy I told you about in Toronto, we were in BC at the time a few years ago. I was like, oh yeah, Eldora and Siman, abundance, and I was, you know, singing their prayers and all this.
Yeah.
Their praises. And he's like, yeah, my friend, we had a discussion after, and he's like, yeah, I kind of want to warn you about these guys. He's
They're
like,
not very good people.
Yeah, he warned me back then, but I was all, oh no, he doesn't know.
He's just triggered.
Yeah, we probably just triggered.
But he actually warned me anyway.
When I realized what was happening, because I got a notification on my phone basically saying that your access has just been removed from such and such and such and such, and so I'm looking on my phone, I'm going, okay, what's that about? And I messaged Liara online. I was like, hey, do you know what this is? My access was just removed from X Trello boards, or this account, that account. Is this a mistake? What's going on? Liara didn't respond, didn't reply, didn't say anything. I kept typing in, wouldn't say anything. About 10 minutes in, it started to hit me what was going on. So I quickly wrote into our group to say I knew what was happening. I was like, okay, so they're firing me. They're not saying anything. And they're smiling in my face. Like they were literally smiling in my face at the very same time. That's the sad part. You know? So yeah, I'm in the background, basically being stolen from, my work, my concepts. I didn't have a choice. I couldn't question why they needed the file projects or templates. They just needed them, so I guess it was my obligation to deliver them. I knew. Deep down I knew. I knew what was happening. I felt it coming. Because it was the way they went about it. It was like all of them, like that week or two prior to me being terminated, is like they all came at me at once, giving me a million tasks to perform, a million things to do, and when I either did not perform them or didn't perform them in a timely manner that they wanted, accused me of being in my ego and being sour and not living up to par with my own skill and my own ability. I was criticized for that.
We call it aligning. We align the fuck out of them. Recently, Nicole was in like a little bit of ungratitude and she didn't even know it because she joined our vortex and we went so fast. Like we had a walk-in and we had England and we had Eldora and Siman and we offered her a job.
Easy being in this vortex.
And then she was like a little bit confused and I said, go take 3 days off and align yourself. And literally we aligned them to the maximum degree that we can, and they all come back.
We all know this had nothing to do with my work. It had nothing to do with my level of professionalism. You guys are redistributing the wealth. You just didn't want to pay for it anymore. So you decided to redistribute the wealth to these kids who, out of ego, Merlin, Nicole, Sistara, you wanted to maintain your position with Eldora and Siman for your worshipping a false idol. I hope you see that. I hope whatever comes through in this video that we're putting together makes you see it, helps you to see it. You're worshipping a false idol. And I hope you get out of this. I hope you break the brainwashing that has been put onto you. and come home to your senses, frankly, because the things that you did and the things that you are doing, you know, are wrong. They're outside of the realm of your integrity. And you don't care so long as you're being praised by EldoRa and Siman for doing more work now, I'm sure, than you're being paid for. Your workload, I'm sure, has increased exponentially, and you're not being paid properly for it. Am I right? You put a ton more stress, an exponential amount of stress on yourselves, and accepted it because you wanted to be accepted by them. And I'm asking you, or I guess I'm asking period, I hope it was worth it. I hope it was worth it.
You make the perfect s'mores. They're like professional.
I don't want to detract. I want you to finish your story, Ree. I'm just saying this part just to kind of, because what you're telling me is kind of drawing reference to when I came on board. It's like, it's just amazing to me how, like, the difference between what was really happening and what, you know, the real story, I guess. And I had no reason at the time to reach out to you about it, to really ask what was going on, because we just, you know, we didn't know each other. And so I just assumed, you know, you, for whatever reason, you just didn't want to come back. And EldoRa and Siman have kind of, when they're speaking to you privately about the people who leave, they do it lightly. They introduce it lightly.
Yeah.
And so you don't question it.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you know, you're off to work for that day or that week or whatever. So you just, you know, everything gets put out of your mind. They just say, oh yeah, so and so is not going to be working with us for right now, you know. So we'll see how she's feeling and stuff. So EldoRa kind of smoothed it over that way, knowing what she had done to you, knowing everything that they had put you through, treating you like
through some messed up stuff.
They put you through hell. Really.
Yeah.
That's straight up hell.
Yeah.
Okay.
But in her case, the soul was so new to Earth that it did not know the initiation of physical labor. So these royalty walk-ins can be a little bit of a spoiled brat. So they have this innate entitlement that why, you know how royalty is?
It's like
the same
entitlement,
template, like, oh, someone else should do the work. So on the second day, she was saying, I wonder how I can outsource my job more. That's how royals think. And we were telling her the opposite. We're like, you have to bend down on your knees and scrub the floors.
Because we've gone through all these initiations.
Go through the initiation of the beggar to become a royal. Because in galactic royalties, our initiations are those of humility. That's what makes us royal.
Because they had just fired me. And then in that video, he's talking about if you're going through the dark night of the soul, it's for your ascension. It's for you. But the way he put it, it's almost like he knew he was trying to talk directly to me.
Yeah, I experienced that as well. Yeah.
Yeah. He knew, so you know, it's like he's talking directly to you, knowing what they just did to you, right?
Yeah.
And they're doing it publicly to basically say, you can't touch us. What can you do? You know, because when they fire somebody, they immediately cover their tracks by putting out a public statement to say what happened. They get ahead of you. They get ahead of me. They get ahead of Hera. So when 6 people all of a sudden left,
that's a lot.
Yeah.
They messed up.
Basically, it was like 5 or 6 people all of a sudden dropped out, and they were immediately online covering what was going on and getting their audience to, you know,
have sympathy for them.
We're the victims. We're the victims here.
We even thought that her son was a narcissist. Like, come on. Like, what mother would say that about her son? Like, and we believed it.
Okay, are you guys ready for like the next? This is the part that is going to be
fucked up as fuck.
As if that was even
Guys,
possible.
this is as fucked up as it can get.
So I came to a point where I actually felt like I was ready to contact EldoRa again and tell her that I was ready to I was back in alignment and ready to be there 100% for them. And I sent them this long, very submissive, is that the correct word? Submissive message, and like really like I know that I'm entitled, I know that I'm spoiled, and I just want to make up for it. And then she answers me, how was it staying with your family? Have you ended things completely with your husband? And what is your plan B if we don't want you back? And then I just answer very honestly, because she's very like, told me everything every time something was inauthentic. I don't know if you recognize that, but yeah, so I really tried to be honest. And then I was like, it was amazing reconnecting with my family, but of course it's not sustainable that I live with them, that, you know, I'm an adult. Then I said that I had told my husband that I wanted to work for them, and that was kind of the final thing that ended it with him. So, and it was to really show like that was honest. And then I said that luckily I found out that it's possible for me to go back, or not luckily, it's possible for me to go back to my studies at university if they do not want me back, which is not an ideal option was not an ideal option for me at that time, because I believed that it was, you know, the Matrix and blah blah blah. And then she freaks out on me. She just sends me one message after the other. She mentions everything that she could just remember, everything I did and everything they did for me. And she was just like, and you don't even look like yourself on your picture. Like you present yourself like an angel. It looks nothing like you, nothing. And all of these messed up things that I'm like, why do you tell me that? It makes no sense. And then she just, you know, said the most nasty things to me. And that's when I realized, okay, I don't care if she's an ascended master. I'm not going back to this. I won't be treated this way. If that's how she talks to me, I'm out. So, but I was still scared as hell of her, but I just didn't. And then she said, blocking you now on WhatsApp. I don't want to take any more of your bullshit. Bye. So I was like, okay, she blocked me. I can't do anything, but they still have all of my stuff. So what am I gonna do? Like, and
do they still have all of your stuff?
Me. Huh?
Say that one more time. I'm sorry.
And they hadn't paid me yet. So I was also like, had no money. My husband just left me. All of my stuff is with crazy people. And that's when I slowly, like, I didn't want to admit it at first, but I slowly started to Google, like, what's a narcissist? What does a narcissistic spiritual teacher look like? And then I came into what's a cult. And then I realized, wow, I was in a cult.
I'm being guided because this is happening in the collective right now. I started sensing that Ree was projecting towards me, or she was very triggered by me. And remember, our vortex, especially if you're living in our house, is a complete mystery school. And Ree was very aware of that when she came. In fact, she even shared with us before coming, she said, I don't mean to sound like I worship you. I'm sorry for using this word, but she's like, I was literally shown that I'm coming as your disciple. And that makes sense because we said, yes, that just means that you're coming in as an initiate, and that the only way you can live with us is if you move forward in your ascension and realize that any triggers are your ego. And she says, I got it. But she didn't realize how crazy it would get. She didn't have any clue. Very powerful. And then on that day, she started like literally avoiding me, getting triggered by me. You want to tell a bit about that?
Yeah, okay. So it's been some crazy days, and after my walk-in, I wasn't myself.
So I was extremely emotional and vulnerable, and I was sometimes an ET and sometimes human, which is very weird to say. And then yesterday, it was like, I had no idea it was happening, but I was going into extreme victim mode for this whole experience. I felt so sorry for myself. I was like, why is it happening to me? And it was actually a very, how do I say, it was kind of a traumatizing experience to have this walk-in. It was very, very crazy. And I didn't know that I was just walking around being my ego. The whole day I was crying, and I was just like, I couldn't see clearly. I kind of just was projecting my emotions and everything, and then I got a slap by Isis in front of the whole team, and it was really embarrassing, but my ego really just
like a
crumpled. And yeah, you stepped in as Isis and really just told me like. Yeah.
So to this day, you did get your belongings back. You said.
Yeah, most of it.
Most of your stuff back. Okay, but you were not paid.
Oh, then and I kept like asking. I was really scared, but after some time, I was like, okay, I think it will be good for like just my whole self-respect to ask for payment, because I actually did work for them, you know. I think I deserve the money, and I just couldn't get into contact with them, and then something very odd happened. Like after a while, Eldora texts me, and then she's like, "Hi, sweet Ree. Hope you're doing well. I'm sorry I was a bit harsh in my last message, but it was really to jolt you into the awareness of what mistake you made. Just wanted to know that we have the beautiful Geraldine with us now, and something just kind of like making me want to come back. Like
she was gloating, trying to make you feel unworthy, that they got someone to replace you, basically.
Like, I can't believe that she wanted to spend her energy on that, because
oh yeah, of course she did, because she loved what it did to you, the whole experience of detracting and pulling on your light that way. And
she really sucked on my light.
Oh yeah.
She did. I felt so exhausted.
She fed off that whole experience, the fear that she put into you, the
Loosh energy,
the loosh, all of it.
She did. Every time I listened to that recording, it felt like something sucked the life force out of me.
And so I want you to know that right now you're at a choice point. You can either take a flight back home, or you can get your ego in check, because 25,000 people will take your place very happily for half the price. They'll even say, hey, we'll just come to
they would love to.
Yeah, and it's a fact.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that this came out, because this is all about alignment. And she said to us a few days ago, she's like, I don't feel aligned. Like, can you help align me? This is the fucking alignment that was needed. Yeah. This is what was needed.
It's occurring to me even right now while we're making this, just the powerful the testimony of you both here right now is really, really, really going to hit a lot of people home. It needs to be said. Just, it's the complete 180 of all of the BS that people have been fed online. And so I just want to be very careful with how we do this, because I want to make sure I represent you guys right here. So I'm going to make sure of that. Trust me. But and I want to thank you both for just finally. I mean, I hate that it's just the three of us online right now, because what I'm feeling is between us, it's like the story's finally coming out, and it's gonna go out, trust me. But then it's also like, well, between the former O.C. there's a little bit of a gap there. Everyone is still kind of, maybe we've all just been so traumatized a little bit that everyone just kind of, yeah, we want to tell this, but none of us really want to get too close to it. It's like we don't even want to remember what happened here, you know?
Yeah.
From a vibrational standpoint, it's like feeling this way. How do I put this? It's like you don't want to feel their energy again, you know?
No, I can feel it physically every time I touch upon,
So we're saying it, we're getting it out now. And I feel like you both are just so brave for even doing that. I can't believe it. I'm in awe. And I'm shocked, and I'm mad, and I'm angry. And I'm hearing all the similarities between our stories, but also going, God, at least for me, I got to only experience this between a computer screen and me and them. I didn't ever have to physically see them or be near them or touch them or pick up any of their shit. If she had called me a little bitch, I probably would have choked her. I don't know.
Yes, and how I coached Ree yesterday, this is freaky. We don't know what happened. Her, Sistara, and Merlin both recorded the audio of the whole thing. And then accidentally.
Yeah.
Guys, how is that possible? Think about it. They both recorded it accidentally. And initially I said, just delete it, like it's accident. And they said, no, we're being guided not to delete it. We have no idea why. So we're getting
because that coaching is priceless.
That coaching that I gave her
it's like Isis speaking
it's
to her.
priceless.
It's like how I channeled the voice of God, she channeled the voice of Isis.
It was so freaking powerful. That's why she got it. I cut through all her bullshit right to her ego, and we pinpointed it down to the and it was very hard.
Like the worst thing I did was actually when she was bleeding and I had to remove the blood from the floor. She was like, clean that up. I just split.
No.
That was the worst. And the way she said it, and yeah, that was the most disgusting thing I did.
Please say that one more time, and I'm not going to interrupt you.
Yeah, I was just reminded that like she was bleeding and she bled on the floor. Like, I don't know if it was like she was bleeding from somewhere, like it wasn't her period, but you know. And then there were like blood on the floor, and she was like, oh, I just bled on the floor, can you just go clean that up? Go clean that up. So I had to like go after her and clean up the blood, and also from the bed sheets when she had bled on the, oh my god. Yeah, that was so degrading.
Yes. Oh my god, I'm sorry you had to go through that.
Yeah. So she cut herself. Was that the picture she showed of herself with the skin, when she skint her knees?
No, that was after I left. No, it was, she sometimes talked about on YouTube, like she had this fistula. Did you?
Fistula?
In her, like, okay, I'm just gonna, like, anus. Like, yeah. She was bleeding from her butthole.
Okay.
And it was on the floor and on the bed sheets and stuff. And the way that she wasn't even embarrassed. She was just like, go clean it.
She had hemorrhoids.
Okay, yeah, I get it. Okay.
I get it.
Oh, and she made it into a whole spiritual thing, and
everything they're making into whole spiritual thing.
Yeah.
She had hemorrhoids.
Oh. Okay.
Sorry.
Okay, I'm just gonna, now I can say all these things. Oh my god.
We're safe here with us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's just because it's very like intimate
personal
stuff. Yeah. His toilet was so gross. like every day I was cleaning, it was just like explosion.
Keeps getting crazier and crazier and explodes with the craziness at the very end.
Everywhere. It was the most disgusting thing.
Like diarrhea or just
diarrhea. Because they were drinking this weird stuff and he got angry because Eldora kept saying that I had to keep an eye on them regarding eating like unhealthy stuff, and they ate a lot of unhealthy stuff. Like they kept saying that we had to eat healthy, and then he had this mocha tonics every morning, and it was so unhealthy. It was filled with just chemicals. It was all it was made of.
What was it?
They called it mocha tonics, and he drank it like all the time.
Mocha
and it was
tonic?
Yeah, and they were like, it's the best, and it's so expensive, and blah, 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 and it looked so cheap, and it was just made of chemicals. And I told them, and that's like one of the times that he actually got really offended, and he was like, don't talk about my mocha tonics. And and that's what made him have this diarrhea every morning. And oh my God, I hated cleaning his toilet. It was disgusting.
But like how fucking degrading to do that to another human being now in like the 21st century to like, if I have diarrhea, I'm sorry, I'm not letting anybody near my toilet with a 10-foot pole. I'll get that myself. Thank you. Like, you're just no. But they're okay leaving that to you to deal with.
Yeah, I think it was like the more disgusting, the better, almost. Yeah.
I'm not laughing. I'm laughing because I'm so.
Yeah, because they wanted to act so like.
You can't believe it. I know.
Yeah, they wanted to be so sophisticated, and they just weren't. They were just they just weren't.
So this just proves that they are not really what they say on the video, right? They're not, No,
they're human. They don't want to be reminded of that, but they're human. They claim to do all this stuff, but they never meditate. They never actually.
That's impossible.
They did none of the practices that they said
that they preached.
Yeah. As I was living with Eldora, I felt like I was more in a balanced state than her, or like I was at least taking time off to go for a walk once in a while, or like even though but she was just on the couch or sending messages to everyone all the time, and not really. They were not exercising at all.
That's so weird. I had sent you're making me remember. I had received a message from Eldora one morning. It was almost like I think she was questioning where I was or something, and I told her what my morning routine was. I said, I wake up every morning around 6 a.m. Mm-hmm. I meditate, and then I'm in the gym by 7. I work out for an hour and a half. I come home, get my shower, get ready, and then I'm on the computer by 9 or 10 in the morning. And then I'm on the computer literally all day. No breaks. I'm just here, right here, right here. Just working all day. That was literally like my life for 6 months, basically. So, but I had to explain that to her, like,
that's why.
Yeah, she always also like, because in the beginning they were giving me a lot more slack, so they were like, yeah, you should like have breaks. Obviously, like everyone would say, go take a break if you're working all day. So I was just managing my own time, and then I was like, I thought, okay, now I'm gonna go for a walk. And then I went for a walk, and then I came home and then she was like, you went for a walk? And then I was like, yeah. And she was like, oh, great. Because it was in the beginning where they were still like trying to love bomb me and win me over. And then later on they were just like they wanted to know everything I did, and
micromanage all of your time. And
oh,
you went for a walk? That is so not an integrity.
Yes, exactly. That's how Eldora would say it.
Yeah, you are not in your integrity. What are you doing? we don't think this is aligned with you're really not in gratitude. You're not in gratitude.
I'm Ray, and I started following Eldora and Siman in 2020. Actually, I started following Siman first. He came up on my YouTube feed probably in April of 2020. And then I ended up going to their retreat in Costa Rica, which was in 2021. I would say I was a pretty devoted soul family member and follower of their movement, because I thought that they had something real that they were offering.
Just like everybody else, I was on the ascension path. I think I started following them like anytime between 2020 and before Costa Rica. So I was like following the whole Costa Rica retreat, and I really wanted to go to their next retreat. I was I wanted to follow them, and I was putting them on a pedestal.
So as Natalie said the other day, we were thrown into the fire to ring the alarm, and we decided to speak up. And that is by design also. Like, I did learn a lot to set my boundaries, only they didn't like when I set my boundaries on them, right? But I did learn a lot.
I woke up and the day of the video, and Ebony, when I say every single, not one denial, every single group I posted, the exposed, all of them. I think everybody's kind of here though, and noticing that this is a trend, and there's so much stuff coming up to the surface across the world, and it's slapping us in our face.
Since I have been out of work, I was paid my last monthly salary, but not the full amount. They had retained my services for the month of November, and only paid for about 3/4 of the month. But regardless, my services were retained, and they have not finished paying me my month's salary for my time work, and for firing me. No warning, no nothing. I was told that that they were going through a restructure of the organization, and that my skills or my work was no longer required, not to mention that I was told that my work was not up to par anymore, and that the level of skill that I was showing was unacceptable for my skill and expertise and experience. So they were ultimately terminating me. I'm saying this to make a point that you should never have your work feel like you're undermining yourself, okay, for any work that you do, just because someone out there doesn't want to pay for it. Just because someone out there wants to take advantage of you. Don't ever undersell yourself or your worth or your work, ever. I did that here. That was my biggest lesson, I feel like. I did that. Hello everyone. If at any point in time you have resonated with this video, please remember to like and comment as you see fit. Share this video with your friends. Learn more about our cause at exposeddoc.com. Thank you.